Controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie and his 94 co-accused persons will now face charges under the Penal Code, which include murder and manslaughter. According to the Director of Public Prosecutions, the suspects, among them the survivors, will each face 10 counts, which also include radicalization and subjecting children to torture. The ODPP has also directed that the suspects be presented before the High Court immediately. NTV's Coast Affairs reporter Kevin Mutai with the details.
The suspects involved in the Shakahola massacre now have a case to answer. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions says the evidence provided is satisfying and sufficient to prosecute all the 95 suspects who were arrested and detained over the deadly religious doctrine in Shakahola, Kilifi County. They include Paul Mackenzie, his wife, and his 29 close associates, plus all the survivors who were rescued from the forest. The charges preferred by the DPP include murder, contrary to Section 203, as read with Section 204 of the Penal Code; manslaughter, contrary to Section 202, as read with Section 205 of the Penal Code; and assault causing bodily harm, contrary to Section 251 of the Penal Code. They will also face charges on the offences under Prevention of Terrorism Act 2012 and the Prevention of Organised Crimes Act 2010, which include engaging in organized criminal activity contrary to Section 4, as read with Section 3, and Section 4.2 of the Prevention of Organised Crimes Act 2010, radicalization contrary to Section 12D of the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2012, facilitating the commission of a terrorist act contrary to Section 9A of the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2012. Another charge will be being in possession of an article connected with an offense under the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2012. The suspects will also face other charges under the Children Act 2001, the Prevention of Torture Act 2017, and the Basic Education Act 2013. They include subjecting a child to torture contrary to Section 25(3) of the Children Act 2022, as read with Section 5(1) of the Prevention of Torture Act number 12 of 2017, cruelty to a child contrary to Section 152 of the Children Act 2022, and infringing a child's right to education contrary to Section 30, as read with Section 30, Part 3 of the Basic Education Act of 2013. The DPP has directed that the suspects be immediately presented in court to face the 10 charges. Murder charges will be heard in Malindi High Court, while the offences involving children will be read at the Tononoka Law Courts. Manslaughter and other offences under the Penal Code will be presented at the Mombasa High Court, as Shanzu Law Courts prepare to handle charges on radicalization and other terrorism-related offences. Mackenzie is, however, currently serving a 1-year jail term for allegedly running a film business. 429 bodies were exhumed from shallow mass graves in Shakahola Forest. They died from activities of the fasting cult linked to the former preacher Paul Mackenzie. The government suspended the exhumation exercise in the expansive Chakama Ranch in September last year, where more graves are yet to be exhumed. Over 613 people with links to the Paul Mackenzie cult were also reported missing. Kevin Mutai, NTV in Mombasa.